Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you'd like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it put together live, send me a message today. Alrighty, so a couple of different ones on tonight in terms of our customers, in terms of our case in this case. Excuse the pun. So we're going to be building a couple of RTX 3080 rigs tonight. So one is for Shannon. So here's the first one with the nice Be Quiet case. Almost called it a dark flash case, but it's so dark. Be Quiet case. So I think I've built one in this case before. It's a pretty chunky case. It comes with two pre-installed 140mm Be Quiet silent wings. So Christine's telling me to stop spitting it so much because of the reflection. But I just want to give you a bit of an idea. So it's got, you might not be able to see it, but it does have some RGBs, just very, very discreet, just around the edge here of our front panel. And I think it also goes around the feet there at the front as well, it looks like. So what we're going to be doing with this, we're going to move that single 140mm silent wings fan there on the front. We're going to put that up top, and I'm going to install just a few more black fans there on the front, just so we've got plenty of airflow here because we've got an RTX 3080. We don't want it to be too loud. Be pretty silly if we had our Be Quiet case and then these fans were running at maximum all the time, so let's try to avoid that if we can. So 3 120s on the front and then 2 140s in the exhaust position up the top and back of the case. So that should work out pretty good for Shannon. So we'll go through the rest of these components. So we've got the excellent i5-12400 6-core 12-thread CPU. So you could be thinking, oh yeah, i5, that doesn't really matter, that's pretty shit, right? I want an i9. But for gaming, you really, really don't need that. The i5-12400 outperforms the Ryzen 9 5950X when it comes to gaming. So even though it's a cheaper CPU, because it's that generational improvement, it's beating some of the old ones. So it's better than a Ryzen 5600X, which you've seen me use here plenty of times before, which pairs nicely with a 3080, a 3090, even a 4080. So not going to cause any issues here whatsoever. In fact, by going with this platform, it's the better of two lots of technology. So we got a Asus Prime B660M-A Wi-Fi DDR4 motherboard. We got a 32GB kit of RAM there, 3600 MHz CL18. We got a 1TB NVMe SSD there. Got a 5-year warranty on that bad boy. Got the aforementioned RTX 3080 cards. This is an Asus Tough Gaming. This is one of the last 3080 cards that's available in like decent amounts right now in Australia. So if you're after a 3080, this is probably going to be one of your only options right now. And what I'm saying to people about 3080 is, once it's gone, it's gone. They haven't made the GPU that goes in 3080, 3080 Ti, 3090 or 3090 Ti since July. So it's been quite a long time since they've even produced this GPU. In fact, 40 series was pushed back because the companies like Asus, MSI and Gigabyte had so many of the GPUs that go into the 3080s, they weren't willing to buy any of the 40 series GPUs from Nvidia yet until they'd sold through what they got, because they didn't want to lose money. Which makes complete sense from a business decision. I don't cast any blame towards them for that. I mean, if they're not profitable and they don't make money, then they don't exist anymore, and then we don't have graphics cards. So you can get upset about corporations making money, but they have to make some money. Okay, they can't have massive losses all the time just to keep prices down, because that means they won't have a business soon. The investors pull their money and they're gone. They don't exist anymore. Anyway, rant over about the 3080. Definitely get in if you want one. So if you're sort of looking at it and you've got, say, a 10 series card, or you've got a 20 series card and you're like, oh, maybe I'll get the 3080, but I just want to see if the prices might come down. Maybe after Christmas it'll be cheaper. Don't do it. Don't do it. If you want to score one, you want to secure one, get one now. I can tell you that a big retailer like Umart, they've got probably less than 200 3080s left across all SKUs. So get in there now while they're there. Hey David, how you going? So we're gonna have to go out to dinner because David has paid for us to go out to dinner at some stage, babe.
Yeah,
I know you're feeling better now, but like I don't know. We're gonna have to do that. We can't forget about Dave's very kind contribution there. Alright, so sorry about that. We've also got a 750 watt Corsair power supply there powering everything tonight. So a pretty good build, a little bit different, less RGB and stuff like that. It's more about silence. We could have gone a cheaper 3080 card that's a little bit noisier than this, but when the customer wanted the silent case, I was like, definitely have to go with a quieter card for this build. Alrighty. So let's get started here. My bigger table means I've got to reach further. Does it make me look smaller, like because the table's bigger, I'm smaller or something? Is that how it goes? And so we got another RTX 3080 build tonight as well. And this one's a little bit different. This is going to another local business that they are selling golf simulators, as in like golf. You know, not a Volkswagen Golf. Yeah. This one was, I think it was around 2680 with the different case there. I think the original that I quoted him was around the 2500 with a Ryzen 5600, and I think we ended up upgrading it to what we see here. So we went with a more expensive case. I had a cheaper case at first and all of that. So if you like this build and you want to see a copy of it, definitely send me a message, and I can send you through all the details on that. And if you want a copy of it, I'm more than happy to build one for you. Yeah.
David says, if I don't get a pick, then it never happened. And says, well, all good guys, I know you're busy, just enjoy when you can.
Yes, we will definitely. No, we are definitely doing that because I'm really keen. I wouldn't actually mind. That's what I was about to say. I was going to say I wouldn't mind going to one of my favorite restaurants, which is like a Texas barbecue place. They do like low and slow cooked meats. So like your brisket and your pastrami and what else have they got there, babe? I don't know. It's all just really beef cheeks, and they got all these different cuts of meat and stuff like that. They do nice fries and coleslaw and stuff. You've got to have some nice coleslaw with your meats and stuff like that, in my opinion. So yeah.
If you're ever in Brisbane, you need to go.
Yes, I can definitely recommend them in Brisbane. Okay, so got our M2 SSD here. So this is just a Gen 3 SSD. A lot of people like to go Gen 4 SSDs, but in all honesty, as someone who builds PCs and works on them, it's not a huge difference in performance. Okay, so when it comes to loading games and stuff like that, you're talking a couple of seconds difference. You're not talking like, oh, the games load like twice as fast now. Because the issue is the bottleneck that occurs becomes something more than just the speed that your SSD can be read by the rest of your PC, basically. So you can look up the benchmarks on this comparing Gen 3 and 4 SSDs, and it really doesn't make a great deal of difference. Where it does make a difference is when you've got a file on one Gen 4 SSD and you want to copy it over to another Gen 4 SSD. Then you've got two Gen 4 SSDs. Then it's like, you've got one being written at the same rate that the other one's being read, and you can get that super fast file transfer speed. But that's a very specific situation. So when it comes to loading a game and stuff, there are other bottlenecks that you run into.
Wisdom.
Yeah.
They're open at Christmas, Smoky Breeze. They're doing Christmas pack 6, so you can go there Christmas morning and pick up a pack of food.
Oh wow. Geez, do we go there? Do we go there and bring over? Do we bring lunch? Do we bring lunch over to my parents' place on Christmas Day? I mean, yeah, I'm not completely opposed to that.
You get like meat and salads and bread rolls and desserts and money. I shouldn't be looking at that. It's making me really hungry.
It's making you really hungry. Alright, so with these new coolers, you can kind of like run the cable like underneath the feet. I'll show you what I'm doing. Alrighty, so the cable there, I've sort of run that underneath the cooler there, just sort of discreetly, and then we don't have like a heap of cable sticking up here going to the CPU fan header. So we want this to be nice and discreet, just like that. Barely see that cable. We didn't have to do anything skanky tying it up or anything like that. We've used the length of the cable in how we've mounted that cooler there. So that's a good thought if ever you're mounting your stock cooler. You want it to be neat. Because just because you're using a stock cooler doesn't mean that the system has to be completely crap. You know, it's not 2001 anymore. You know, I remember 2001 like it was yesterday. And you know what'll make you feel really old is that there are people born in 2001 who are 21 years old enough to drink in America. How good's that?
Not very good.
Not very good, no. No, we saw some... See, the thing is, there's crazy stuff happens in America, right? They got like no regulation on things that are regulated in other countries. Guns. But also alcohol and stuff like that. You can... The driving limit's 0.08 there. So you can be pretty bloody tipsy and still be let go at an RBT. So that's one difference with America versus Australia. And I saw this thing about 4 people in America who got given life sentences after they crashed and killed people being drunk. One guy, he breathed 0.37.
It was like 8 times.
It's between 7 and 8 times the Australian drinking limit. And like I was saying to Christine, I'm like, that's the thing about alcohol is, it's constantly being removed and broken down by the liver. The liver is constantly filtering the blood. That's what the liver does. And it constantly breaks down the alcohol. So to push it up that high, you've got to be like throwing them back, right? Like if you're just sitting down at dinner and just like casually having a glass of wine or a beer or something like that while you're talking with friends and stuff like that, and you might have a few drinks throughout the night, you're never going to get to 3.37. It's just not going to happen. Anyway, rant over about that. We've got our motherboard all prepped up there, so we can go and turn our attention to the case now. So it's a beautiful case. It's definitely no problems here from an upgrade perspective. You could potentially have this case for the next 10 years and put a whole new build inside this case, and it'll be quite fine for that. Alrighty, so we've got like a, what's that? 3mm glass panel there, so not super thick, not like 4 or 5 millimeters. And got a big box of accessories. What accessories do we get with our Be Quiet case? Oh, an extra hard drive caddy, some Velcro strips, some bolts, and what are these? These look like they come with our drive tray. They're like little anti-vibration mounts, little rubber things that stop it from vibrating, just to help reduce the noise in any way possible. Ah yes, it's got the noise dampening material on the side of the case there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it's got this stuff here. It's like sort of, I guess you describe it as somewhere between foam and rubber. There's a panel there, and it's just designed to reduce those acoustic vibrations. Because obviously, as we all know, sound travels by vibration. Sound is a wave. So we can talk about the wave function of sound and all that kind of nerdy shit, but I don't think we'll get into that tonight. Because I will no doubt say something wrong and look like an idiot, because I'm not a scientist. I'm just a science enthusiast. See, there's a difference. Some people on the internet don't understand that. Okay, so I'll get rid of all these wire ties. I hate wire ties around my cables. I mean, it's probably a non-issue realistically, but I just don't like the idea of, like, you know, these metal cables wrapped around the metal cables here, and, you know, quantum mechanics and all that. Anyway. Okay, so we've got a couple of pre-installed cables there. We've got one power, 2 LED cables for our case. We've got an additional 12 volt RGB header on that controller. This is what I'm talking about right here. Okay, so these little panels here, they come out, and it looks like you can mount additional drive trays in those positions if you want, just like the two there, and the extra one that we got right here. So I don't know why you'd want to do this unless you wanted to use this case as like a sort of server box or something like that. But anyway. Okay, so our front panel just pushes off, unclips. We've got some contacts around there, and we've got RGB that sort of comes out and sticks out from around the side of this panel. So it looks quite sharp when it's done. We've got a dust filter here that comes off, and then we've got that one not RGB, 140mm fan, I should say. And we're just going to go ahead and swap that one around, because we've got other fans that we're going to install on the front. Okay, so that's going to go up the top there at the back in the exhaust position, and we're going to chuck in some extra fans here. Actually, I've got these fractal design. They're still DC. The 140s. It's 140s being DC. That's okay. I think because we got 140s on the front, we'll put 140s. Sorry, if we've got 140s on the back, we're going to put 140s on the front. Getting my words mixed up here tonight. I need a bit of cocaine to get me through the month or something.
Oh, speaking of that, fucking, did you hear about the ABC's old CEO?
No.
He's been caught up in a heap of drugs. He had $600,000 worth of like illegal substances.
600 grand worth of illegal substances. You can't say that's for personal usage.
From MDMA to cocaine and pot and meth, all sorts of stuff. I saw that today. I was like, what?
Yeah, well, you know, people will freaking do that, eh? I hate it when people sort of think that, oh, this person does this, so they're definitely a good person. It's like, dude, are you serious?
Well,
Why don't you show everyone your pretty hair, babe?
I don't think they want to see my hair.
Oh, I don't know.
That amazing.
I think you'd be surprised. She thinks I'm just trying to flatter her now. How about we all get in the comments and tell Christine that we want to see her pretty hair?
No, you don't. No, it's orange.
Yeah, she's an orange girl. She loves it.
If I could have it fluoro orange, I probably would, but I don't want to bleach my hair.
She likes the chick from you know, The Fifth Element.
Yeah. I want my hair like that. Love that movie.
Okay. Fan number 1 is installed and ready to go.
Jen says she's a Catwoman.
Yes, yes.
I kind of am a crazy cat lady. Ah, cat.
Hey, buddy.
He's a very fluffy cat. And I spoke about him at length last night, and the pros and cons of owning such a fluffy cat. And as I said, I don't recommend it for your first one.
I'm really trying to get rid of the table. You. Just get in the way.
No, let him on the table. Everyone wants to see the cat.
Cat. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. What?
Okay, so we got our 2 intake fans in place. Oh,
That's right.
what am I doing wrong here? Haha, back to front. That'll do it. That'll do it. Okay, so 2 extra fans here in the back. You should just be able to plug them in to our PWM controller, because you can obviously plug a DC fan into a PWM controller. The only issue is when we set it up in BIOS, we could run into some problems. So, what have we got in terms of fan headers on this motherboard? Not a great deal. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4, including our CPU. There's no other hidden one somewhere, not up the top there. No. Alright. We'll leave them there for now, and if I think that it's a little bit too noisy, I might reconfigure our fans slightly. So most of these cables will just get sort of run around there, and they'll come in. We probably run what we can behind the motherboard there, because we've got a micro board in an ATX case. Now, some people hate that. I say there's nothing wrong with it. If it fits, it sits. And basically, the issue that you run into is having the what do you call it? Having the cables stick out from the bottom. That's what people don't like. That's why people are like, you can't do that. Occasionally I get someone in the comments and it's like, dude, have you seen my PCs like that? They are clean as fuck. Okay, there's no skanky cables sticking out at the bottom. Alright. Oh jeez. Is that 6 bolts I've got to take off? Or more? Holy shit.
Don't lose any.
No. I think it's 11 screws I have to remove here to take the top off. That just sounds wrong, doesn't it? But no, that's the same bit of metal. So I guess it's not really designed to be taken off.
Yeah. Huh? What time are you leaving? No, it's alright.
Jesus. Okay, just 11 screws there to get into that. So, you know, no wuckers. Too bad if you're a dust freak and you want to get into it. Okay, so after all that effort, it didn't even take that long to screw in a fan. Oh, I have to put this back on in a very specific kind of way. Oh. Oh, God.
Max says, I just had dinner, yet my mouth is still watering over that smoky moody link.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's beautiful, guys.
Such good food.
Mm-hmm. What is going on right now? Why won't you freaking fit down?
Broke it.
Apparently. There we go, look at that! I got it! And I got the back as well, how good's that? Geez, I know that if it was me, I don't know if I'd put all these bits back in. I will, because it's like how it's meant to be. But if it was my PC, yeah, me making sure I could access that without 11 bolts. It was hard enough to put that piece on at the end. So I don't know how much it's going to actually vibrate.
So
Yeah.
Kyle says, hey mate, how's it going?
Hey Kyle, how you going? Good to have you with us. Yeah, if you've never had Texas barbecue, you've got to at least try it. I guarantee you'll like it. Unless you're a vegan, then you might not like it. I reckon most vegetarians would cheat for the day if they were at Smoky Moose. Like I know people who maintain a largely vegan diet and stuff like that. They cheat. They're not like super exclusive and stuff like that. From time to time, they'll just go, oh fuck it, let's have a hamburger. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, the militant vegan will make you feel guilty about it, but there's actually nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's untangle these cables just a little bit here. So we've got a USB-C, we've got our front panels USB 3, HD audio. Very nice. And then we've got a PWM cable, a RGB cable, and a SATA power cable. Okay, so everything's all looking a little bit more organised in case. So let's get our power supply installed. Yeah.
I thought this was like a home cooked meal. That's from the restaurant.
Oh no. Oh no.
I would have paid $14 for that.
Where's that?
Northside. It's meant to be an Italian restaurant.
Oh god. Take a screenshot. Share that with the group.
Oh, I can like share it on the like page, but I can't do it in the comments.
You can't post a photo.
No.
Oh. That's kind of shit. Okay, so you can mount your power supply either face down or face up, but you need to make sure that you have a vent at the top there if you want to mount it face up. If you're wondering why most power supplies are mounted in the face down position, some might think of it as upside down. It's not, but yeah, some people will still think of it like that. Hang on, this is a little bit off center. About 1/2 millimetre off, and it'll just stop me tightening that bolt. Yeah.
Devin says evening, mate.
Hey Devin, how you going? So we're still waiting, still freaking waiting. I've sent him an email. They've told me in the past that they run with a maximum of 10 business days turnaround for anything that gets ordered from their distributors. So we're at 10 business days tomorrow. So I sent them an email this afternoon after close of business. So I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm as keen as you, but I am keen to do it. And I'm keen to build it and stuff like that. And I know that you've paid almost 2 weeks ago, man, which is shit. Like I normally try to run with a 96-hour turnaround from payment to shipping on my PCs. So when it's a big hold up like this, I feel bad. I shouldn't really feel bad because most of my competitors have a much longer turnaround. So okay, well, we can put our I/O shield in. We can make a few adjustments to our offsets. So our motherboard here's got Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.1 integrated. So we don't need any Wi-Fi dongles or any of that nonsense. I mean, there are people, because of Wi-Fi dongles and stuff, there are people that think that Wi-Fi is crap and you can't really use that if you want something like good. And that's just not true. You can have excellent internet connection over Wi-Fi these days, That's not necessarily a bottleneck in your system. But if you're trying to run Wi-Fi over USB, yeah, that can be a problem. And also, if you don't know anything about Wi-Fi standards, then you'll probably look at like the cheapest possible Wi-Fi dongle. And that means you'll probably buy a Wi-Fi version 4 dongle. Now, that's a problem because that can only handle a maximum of 300 megabits a second. Okay, and if you've got only 300 megabits per second, remember that don't get megabits and megabytes confused. Okay. So there's 8 bits in a byte. So if we've got 300 megabits and we divide it by 8, roughly, it's less than 40 megabytes a second. So if that's your maximum speed over that Wi-Fi, yeah, you're never going to get that theoretical maximum in the real world. So it's going to be even less than that, right? That's how these things work. So if you got that crappy dongle, it's going to bottleneck the shit out of your internet, and any issues with the USB, that's just going to be another issue for you, where it's dropping out and lagging and skipping and all that nonsense. So what you want in this day and age with Australian internet is a minimum of Wi-Fi version 5 or AC Wi-Fi. We've also got AX, which is version 6 and 6E, and that's what we've got here on this motherboard. Yeah.
Max says, have you ever put the whole thing together and forgotten the shield? I have.
Yeah, I've done that. Yep. Absolutely, I've done that. I've done it live in one of my builds, and I just didn't tell anyone about it. And then afterwards, I was like, ugh, gotta freaking unscrew the whole motherboard, move it just far enough for me to get the I/O shield in. Then I gotta put it all back. Yeah, so look, I think you said you gave him a call. I've given him a call now.
He says it's all good, man. Shit happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's the nature. If they just have it listed as in stock on their website, we got no way of knowing whether it's actually in stock. And there you have why I don't buy a lot of stuff from M-Wave. So if there's a rep from M-Wave listening in, that could be one way that you improve your business. But they probably don't care because, see, most PC customers are only customers like maybe once or twice every maybe 5 to 10 years. And so as a result, the companies are sort of like, yeah, we could be honest and help our customers out, or we could just be dicks, and they'll never know. They'll come back eventually, but
guess what Fractal's done?
what?
Wooden case. It literally has wood in the front.
Oh no!
You can get it in what is it? Walnut or oak? It looks nice. I kind of like it.
So Fractal's got a wood trim case. So we've come full circle now, guys. It seems we're back to 1972 standards and stylings.
So Max says, haha, I'm going to search for that video right now.
Okay.
See it? Look.
Yeah, I see it. Post a link to that.
Yeah, I did.
Very nice. Okay, so I put a couple of bolts in our case just up the top there, because the secret to mounting a micro ATX board in a full-size ATX case is how you connect the cables along the bottom. So you don't want skanky cables sticking up all along here. It looks kind of like messy, right? So the trick is, with your cables, we'll start with the HD audio. So I'm going to run this one behind the motherboard there. And we're just going to come out there. It's a nice insulated cable. And because of the offsets on the motherboard, we've got plenty of room to run it at the back there. And that can just plug in like that. Next, we've got our 12 volt RGB header, and once again I'm just going to slot that one down. Sometimes you've got to pull the board out a bit, they can get caught on the pins because the header's really thick. Yep.
Max says beige for the win.
Beige for the win, hey? Okay. So with your 4-pin RGB or your 12 volt RGB, you need to be very, very careful that you plug it in the right way around. So the engineers have done their part, right? So that if you have it plugged in the wrong way around, it won't start to catch fire, but it won't work. So it only works if you plug it in one way around. So you need to look at the circuit diagram on the board to see which way the header is, and then look at the cable and line up the 12 volt pin. Okay, the R and G and B pin, they're not really relevant, right? You can line it up from that, but most people look at the 12 volt. Look for the 12 volt on the circuit diagram on the board, look for the 12 volt on the cable. There's normally a little arrow next to the 12 volt on the cable telling you to line it up with that one. And so in addition to that, we have, where's our PWM? So we have a fan header along the bottom of the motherboard there? No, we don't. So we'll have to use this one at the top, CPU optional, to plug our controller in. So that's fine up the top there, nice and neat. And then we've got our front panel connectors. So this is our power switch, reset switch, etc. And so these guys live down in the bottom corner usually on your case. And so I like to start with the reset switch. Now always double check what you're doing with these cables. Check the circuit diagram, don't be afraid. As soon as you start going, oh, this is like a concrete rule, it'll never be any other way, that's when you'll start stuffing up. Okay? Now luckily with these headers down the bottom, this is something that most people, even if you've built a lot of PCs, if you're like more of a casual builder, this is probably going to be more of a problem for you, just because it's like really little and fiddly, and you know, if it's sort of 5 years in between PC builds for you, which is what it can be like for a lot of people, yeah, it can be a little bit taxing to remember the order of these pins down there, and it's, you know, it's hard to see, and you know, we get older and our eyes get worse, right? So it can be a real pain in the ass there. But anyway, that's all hooked up. And so now that we've got all those cables down the bottom there sort of hooked up nice and neatly, we don't have anything sort of coming up there. So that looks almost like there's holes there in this case to stick these cables through. That's all nice and neat. So, you know, we can put our hand down here and we're not going to have any cables sort of obstructing our hand. I usually, when I mount the graphics card, my thing is I normally have the cables coming in from around the top there. I find that that sort of offsets a bit of the graphics card sag in the build. So a lot of people are concerned about that, and they put like things in there to stop the sag. They think that the actual board is bending, but it's not the board, it's the panel at the back, the bit of aluminium that goes around the HDMI ports and stuff. That's the part that bends. So having it sag, it's not really a big deal. If it sags too much, it can put a bit of stress on the actual PCIe slot, but that's only in extreme cases. So what I normally do, if you come in with your power cables from around the top, it sort of gives it a little bit of extra support there. So that's typically ideal. Yeah, they've got a CMOS battery up here. It's in a very weird spot. Is that? Okay. Interesting. I guess that's designed to make it easier, but it's kind of harder at the same time. You know, sometimes you just don't know what their rationale of making certain decisions is, right? Okay, so we've got all those cables there run behind the motherboard that we need to. We're not going to need to do any other cables behind the motherboard. So let's chuck a few more of these bolts in. So it's the bigger thread pitch bolts in this case. So you've got typically two types of thread pitches with PC bolts. There's a thicker one and a thinner one, essentially. There is like a super thin one for the M2 screws and etc. There are other ones, but there are two main sizes. It's typically the bigger thread pitch one is the thread pitch that you'll find on the hexagonal bolts. However, they also make sort of dome top bolts that have the same thread pitch. What's going on here? There we go. It's always annoying when your bolt's not lining up completely. So the trick is to make sure it's all lined up. Is if you turn it backwards, you'll feel it sort of click a little bit when the thread pieces have lined up. If not, you can screw in and it might start becoming really, really tight to screw in, and that's typically going to damage the thread inside the offset there, and you don't really want to do that. That's how you get stuck bolts and all that good stuff. Okay, so that's all looking pretty good there. So all we've got to do now really is connect our power cables and stuff. So I'm going to start with our CPU. That should be fairly simple. We just got a single 8-pin there, which is all the juice that we need for this. Okay. There we go. Nice and neat and tucked away. There we go. Okay, so just give your power cable a nice bend there around, and you'll hide most of it, and it will just look nice and neat sitting there. It won't be sticking out or anything like that. But the other ones we've got around here are our USB-C. Yeah, that can come out from here. Oh, no, wrong way around. There we go. That looks nice and neat in there. And our USB 3. Oh no, our USB 3 is going to be the token cable along the bottom there. Why can't I fit that? I can't even fit that through. What will we do there? I wish they put the USB 3 header right there. That would have been good on this motherboard. Bastard. So there's our token cable plugged in from the bottom, but it's a thick boy, so it doesn't really look too bad or too out of place there. Okay. And so around the back here, we don't have too much to deal with, which is good. So I don't think we're installing any hard drives or anything like that, but we've just got a bunch of cables here that we're going to tie up. They're our SATA and Molex cables. We don't really need, we need one of them for the fan controller. But that's fine, they can get tucked away down there with our power supply. Okay, do a bit of cable management here, just on this PCIe cable. No whackers. That's an old school Aussie saying right there. Let's bring it back. No whackers, mate. No fucking whackers. I mean, this is going up to Gympie. Gympie's a very Aussie Queensland town. I don't think you can really get more Aussie than Gympie. Can you, babe, do you reckon? Can you get more Aussie than Gympie? I reckon Gympie is an excellent amalgamation and representation of Australian small towns. What do you think? I think it's got it all going on. They've got the old school Gympie muster going on there, and you know, it's like right up there at the back of the Sunshine Coast, and you know, it's really, really nice country agriculturally. The town's really old and like historic. Christine doesn't seem like she agrees. She's sitting there she's shrugging her shoulders. How's that? Shrugging her shoulders. You know, you can disagree with me. People would probably like that. Mm. Tamworth's a rural city though. Tamworth's huge compared, like Tamworth's a big place. It's like Toowoomba kind of thing. Talking about country towns here. Okay, here it is, our RTX 3080, wrapped up in shrink wrap in true ASUS style. No, but Tamworth's bigger than Gympie, right? I'm not tripping there. I don't think. I would compare Tamworth to Toowoomba, or Townsville, or something like that. I'd compare Gympie to like, oh, where's a good example? Stanthorpe, Tenterfield, Glen Innes. It's like a slightly bigger version of Taree. I don't know, what country town does the audience think is the best representation of an Australian country town? I think Gympie's pretty good at representing that.
So
Yeah.
Max says I'm in Kilroy and Gympie is the big smoke to us.
Yeah, exactly. But you got to draw the line somewhere, right? And the case of the disappearing bolt.
That's a never-ending story. Since
It's the never-ending story.
oh,
She's gonna kill me in a second, man.
you know what's funny? I looked down at my dial file and I was going to chuck it at you, but
Somehow it ended up down there on the floor, and it's definitely the right one. It's got the exact same finish on it. Yeah. I got the 4090 graphics card in a box with a seatbelt around it in the car.
Asus shared it.
Asus shared it, God. Of all people, Asus shared it. Don't they realise that that's kind of ridiculous? Anyway.
They're just promoting the it's trying to be fun, alright?
I know they're trying to be fun. But they got to remember their audience. They got to deal with people like me. And yeah, being in Karoi definitely gives us a big smoke. Okay, that is one PC. this case is like, this panel is too big to put on that way. Because even though our cables are pretty discreet in here and are not really sort of obstructing anything, plenty of room, as soon as I line up the bottom, the top freaking comes unlined. So I'm going to lay it down, not because I need to put a lot of pressure on it, but just because the panel's so big. Ugh. There we go. So, who wants to see if it actually works? It's all good for me to crap on for an hour and like put it together, but it kind of has to work, because if not, I can't ship it off to the customer tomorrow. And that would be a shame. And I need our BIOS babe to BIOS me up. Is that all right? Can you handle that, BIOS babe? Okay. Display output. So if Shannon's watching this, Shannon, do not plug in to the ports on your motherboard. Everything else gets plugged into your motherboard, just not the display cables. The plugs I'm inserting into those ports are not there to protect anything. They're there to signify that they're not in use. Okay? Just FYI. I'm going to pull the others out of your graphics card here now. It's like kind of stuck in there. Silly thing. Oh, it's just that bolt's like pushed it up just slightly. That's okay. Rather it be slightly up than slightly down. That is a piece of fluffy cat fur. That is the power on button. Very quiet. Okay, so we've got a post. I got it. Thank you very much.
You want to see something stupid?
What?
Look what Dyson's releasing. It's legitimate.
It's real.
That's real.
Oh my god.
They're headphones, but they are also an air purifier.
Righto.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to share the screenio?
Oh fuck, that's heavy. Keepers.
It's certainly not a light case.
Oh, just turned it so people can actually see the RTX.
It's on orange mode at the moment.
My favourite colour.
Christine will be very happy. So we need to put a lot of foam in this one. There'll be more foam than PC, for sure, in terms of volume. Certainly not mass. Do you want to know a fun fact that most people don't realise? Now, most people would probably realise if I said that if I said that 99% of the mass of the solar system was just the Sun and Jupiter, and all the rest of the planets were just 1% of the mass, that wouldn't really surprise too many people, I don't think. I think most people would be like, yeah, man, the Sun's huge, and Jupiter's the biggest planet. But out of all the planets, did you know that Jupiter is more than 75% of the total mass of all the planets combined? You look at Saturn in most maps and it looks like Saturn's roughly the same size as Jupiter. No. Jupiter's like multiple Saturns. Yeah, Jupiter is 75% of the whole mass of all the planets combined. So we're basically nothing in comparison to the solar system. So you should feel a lot smaller now if you didn't know that. Alrighty. So we're upgrading from version 14.02 to 2014. All the same numbers, just in a different order. Okay, there's our Wi-Fi antenna assembled. Yes, that is super quiet. Can you hear anything? So same brand as my screwdrivers here. Be quiet. What's up?
You don't need a parachute to go skydiving. You need a parachute to go skydiving twice.
Yes, good point. You don't need a parachute to go skydiving. You just need one to go twice. Except in very rare cases. There is a thing called free diving. And while you're not completely unassisted, you don't have a parachute as such. Okay. So reboot that now. And so we've got a few used graphics cards. So I'll be able to put together some used 30 series PCs with mainly new parts, just used graphics cards. That'll bring the cost down for a few people who are on a bit of a budget. And unfortunately, I can't offer any warranty on the cards, but all the new parts I can offer warranty on. And so hopefully it saves you some bucks, and hopefully you have a completely trouble-free experience with the graphics card. But of course, they've been tested and they definitely work. It's not just going to work for you once and then stuff up or anything. So as you can see, smashes through a Windows install. The i5 12400 is a great little CPU. It pairs very nicely with a RTX 3080. Just like a 5600 does, just like a 5700 does, just like a 5900 does, or a 5950, or any of those Ryzen 5000 chips. It's on par with them. Or Humpty Doo.
That's very strange.
That's a very, very Australian.
I pissed myself laughing when I saw that sign. I was like, what? They actually named a place Humpty Doo?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
It's like, could you, like, come up with a better name for a place?
Humpty Doo, I mean... Yeah, I mean, come on, there's Humpty Doo, there's Fanny Bay. There's all sorts of crazy shit in the territory. Yep, we've been all up through there. We've been to Jabiru, we've been to Humpty Doo, we've been to Fanny Bay, we've been through Darwin. They're the freaking steroids guys in Family Guy.
Huh?
They're the steroids guys in
Oh.
Family Guy. Eggs and steak and eggs. That's what you have for breakfast. Delicious. Eggs and steak and eggs. Just making sure you heard.
I got it.
Alrighty. So no United States. I wonder if one day I'll fucking be in America and doing this shit and I'll be able to just click next.
No, I don't want to go there then. Well, I do want to go there, but I don't want to move there.
No. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start assembling the other one while we've got a little bit of downtime doing things with this one. So very similar system. It's just got less storage, less RAM and less CPU because it doesn't really need it. So because this is a golf simulator PC for another business that sells these systems to customers, we're only putting in what we need because obviously the customer, my customer, the business, they want to make as much money from these as possible, right? So we'll keep the costs down in any way we can. Come on. Find your network driver. Find the one. There you go. You got it. Alrighty, so it's our old friend, the MSI B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. Got a Ryzen 5500 CPU. We've got 16 gigabytes of RAM. We've got just a 256 gigabyte SSD. It's all that this PC needs. I think it's pretty cool. I want to I wouldn't mind buying one of these for my dad, actually. Okay, let's get some stuff going on here. 3. No longer need the Windows SSD, but we do need my SSD. Okay, so Armory Crate, if you're wondering, is the software that comes with your motherboard. So we don't do optical drives anymore, so CDs and DVDs. So motherboards, the latest series of motherboards that are coming out, they're not even coming out with discs anymore. You just get all this stuff off the internet, basically. Nobody really needs the offline discs these days. There's less and less need for it. If you're not going to respond, just close. Right, put down some custom desktop icons so we don't make a complete mess of this place when we install some useful software. So what I'm installing is not really bloatware. These are just useful apps and the stuff that's used for our stress test. And obviously the main gaming apps, because this is going to be a gaming computer. And I download things like Google Chrome, VLC Media Player, things that like basically everybody uses. But also things like CPU-Z here, which tells you information on your PC. You can test your CPU and then you can click submit and then you can go and compare it to all the other CPUs and see where yours sits compared to another one. And then you can make sense of whether it makes sense to upgrade. You can make sense of whether it makes sense. That's a bit of a tongue tire, isn't it? Epic Games and Battle.net, they're gaming apps. So Battle.net there is for Call of Duty. Epic Games there is for Fortnite. So these are pretty much the top 2 games that people play. You might not think it with all the games that are out there, but basically everyone who buys a PC, they want to play Call of Duty and Fortnite. If I was gonna say what does the average person play on computer, it's Call of Duty. Oh, I've already installed that. What am I doing? I'm going crazy. MSI Afterburner. This allows us to control the fan speed on our graphics card, and it also comes with the overlay that I use for the stress tests and stuff. Origin's another gaming app for EA related games. Heaven Superposition and Valley, they are for our benchmarks. So these are free benchmark apps that anyone can download. So if you want to compare your computer to any system that you see me build here live, you can just skip to the part where we run the benchmarks, run them on your computer, and you can watch away on YouTube or wherever you're watching me, and compare your computer to any of the PCs that we build here. And that's kind of why I do it. And also I don't have time to install like games and go and test actual games out on every PC that I build. Okay, it's all done. How are we looking over here? Alrighty, geez, it's getting late. Been talking too much. No, we did start pretty late. It's because it's staying later out here. Geez, daylight saving would kill me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing one for another local business that sells golf simulator machines. So yeah, you heard that right, golf. So definitely something that's sort of a little bit niche. I think it's really cool. I love seeing new games. I love sim related games. I think that's really cool. Whether it's flight simulator, racing simulator, I think it's great. I think it's like esports. It's the future, right? You know, I like it because, you know, potentially a disabled person can learn how to operate a sim in some level, and they can go and do things that they would never be able to do. And, you know, not everyone is born, you know, with a fully functional body. Sometimes it's not even an accident that you know brings you down if you're disabled. Some people are just born that way, and that sucks, right? And in some days and ages, that was pretty much, you know, you may as well kill yourself, because it's not much of a life. You're gonna live your life suffering. But no, in this day and age, there's actually opportunities. There's actually, you know, things that you can do to kind of overcome that sort of stuff. And that's what I think's so cool about sim races and stuff. Just sims in general. So yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing next. And so while the rest of this is downloading and finishing up, I'm just going to start assembling the second PC here. So it's not going to be the most crazy build, but this is one of the better quality ones with an RTX 3080. But then all the other specs are relatively simple, you know.
Check out this.
Oh geez, that looks like it's running on an optical drive.
That's from a radiation bunker in the UK.
A radiation bunker in the UK. Wow. Do you know? Does it say what hardware that is?
No, there's no information about
No information about it. Damn. That's a very old PC. It looks like it's got a freaking disk drive at the bottom. Like it's only a disk drive. It's probably just me looking at it from here.
Got two floppy things there. I don't know.
Oh, okay, okay. Just take a step back and come back here and look at it, because it looks like a CD drive. It looks like the monitor's sitting on a CD drive.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see
Yeah,
that?
no. What the monitor's sitting on? That's a keypad.
Oh, okay. Yep. Share a link or something. Sorry, what was that? 4? That might happen.
There's a Golf 4.
Yeah, yeah. You said that earlier, didn't you?
Yeah. I remember going past the golf course when I was a kid with my brother while he was driving, and we'd both yell out, 4! As people were going to swing. You do it just as they're about to swing. They're in the motion of swinging. You're like, oh, and they fuck off. And they're like,
Oh, God. See, you lived near a golf course when you were young. I never lived near a golf course.
There were turtles that used to live in lakes.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so you got to live where I grew up for a little bit. So you got to see what my area, my childhood was like. Pretty bland suburbia compared to like Wynnum. There's nothing really special or exciting about the area.
It was pretty boring.
Yeah, but not as boring as freaking
I guess
the middle of the north side suburbia.
We had like an ocean pool to swim in.
Yeah, you had stuff, man.
Like a in-ground swimming pool with like flooring on it that had like a water slide and a deck that you could jump off.
If you didn't have a pool or a friend with a pool in my area, there was nowhere to escape the heat in summer. It was just hot. So I spent many times walking home from school, walking up all those hills on the way home from school. It was great fun.
It was me walking home from school in flat land.
Oh, I think I already checked for updates here. I think we're probably all up to date. Gaming apps go in the games folder. Everything else goes into the applications folder. And yeah, you don't have to use this organization system that I've got here. This is just how I do it on my machine. So, you know, people typically don't have too much in their heads about it. So if they haven't really thought about a way of organising it, I'll set one way of organising your desktop up, and then you can decide what to do with it.
This is how that PC runs on. Film.
Oh, yep. Film and tape related PCs, yeah. That's a thing. There's nothing wrong with it, technically. It sounds really weird to people, but yeah. PCs can run on tapes. That used to be a thing. So even though we've gone cheap, we could still have a a case here with some LED lighting and stuff like that. It doesn't have to look like a complete cheap and nasty budget PC just because it's going to be used for a golf sim. The person who buys this should at least feel that they've gotten a decent PC based on modern standards. But of course, this is the first one I've done for this company. So if Sam, the business owner, doesn't feel that this is quite right for the customers and the branding and stuff that he's doing, we can always remove the RGB fans and just replace them with plain black ones. That's not a problem at all. But I just figure that if the customer gets a PC, they should get something that's in line with the average PC that we sell here. So that's my take on it all.
The first practical use of the micro photography involved carrier pigeons in 1870s during the Franco-Prussian War. Dagron created micro photographs of official documents and private messages and sent them across enemy lines to Paris in small tubes. Fixed
Pigeons. Yep. Carrier pigeons. Imagine that. Imagine if we were still using carrier pigeons.
All I can see is your arm.
All you can see is my arm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna come back around. Now I'm gonna come back around the other way. At least I've got a slightly bigger table now. I guess that's kind of a good thing.
And these micro in controlled storage, they can last up to 500 years.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, we could buy we could potentially buy a tape drive and plug it into our PC if we wanted to. It's still actually a thing. It's very, very niche. It only has particular sort of professional applications like what you're looking at right there. But yeah, it's not as crazy as it sounds. A young person like a Gen Z or younger would be like, "What? Tape drives? That sounds like, yeah, what?" I wonder if Riley knows about tape drives.
They're so expensive.
Yeah, you looking up tape drives?
Holy
Haha,
shit.
Christine's just looking up tape drives. Like I said, they only have
Here for 10 grand.
They have professional applications only. It's not a normal, and it's not like a normal home user thing in this day and age.
The cartridges are like.
Yep. Yep. Yep, that's correct.
Well, there you go. I learned something new.
You learned something new? Yeah, I wonder if Riley knows about tape drives and stuff.
I don't know, he's pretty fucking.
He's pretty knowledgeable for a 17-year-old kid of this generation and stuff. Like, I would say, yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, back in my day, we used punch cards.
With what, punch cards? now we're really going back in time. Punch cards. Yep. But that was like some of the first computers that we ever had. Was punch cards. Look up punch card computers, babe. If you're unfamiliar with that.
Oh, I've seen them before.
You've seen them before?
Yeah.
Seen a documentary on them or something? Yeah. Yep, the very first computers. Nothing like what we have right now. We can go and restart now, and then we can run some benchmarks on this thing. Okay. And what are we going to do? Where the frick did it go? Okay. Well, we forgot to deactivate all that annoying shit that starts up automatically.
This bunker they had in this special EMP room where they had got their electronic stuff away so it wouldn't get fucked up by nuclear explosions
Yep.
and whatnot.
Yep. Yep, you've got to keep important information backed up.
Check out the room.
Mm-hmm.
The doors to this place are 20 centimetres thick and they weigh about 1 ton.
Oh, wow.
Glass doors.
Yep.
Gas, water, radiation proof.
Okay. Alrighty, let's run some gaming benchmarks.
Fuck it all, Johnny.
Mm-hmm. It's getting a bit that way. But I didn't have my first coffee today till this afternoon. So yeah.
This is my first programming job. Is manual hole punch to program cards.
Oh wow. A manual hole punch.
Beavers.
So you'd have to really think about that, right? Okay. Oop. Okay. Oh, keep forgetting to turn off the sound. Sound will be very loud. Sorry about that.
Max says he didn't have a backspace key. He says, in old man voice, these whippersnappers today with their new
Fancy.
artificial intelligence code.
Yes, I know, right? We're so spoiled, aren't we? So spoiled.
Wow. Buddy, where is he? I heard him now, but I can't see him.
Yeah, he's a fluffy now. that looks like we have gone all the way through. Yep, we sure have. Sorry about that. It gets a bit distracting when I'm trying to smash out PC number 2. So I'm not here until midnight. Okay, so next we'll run Valley on Ultra with max anti-aliasing. So we're not going to run the benchmarks and stuff on this PC here, just because we've already run essentially the same specs over on the other PC. Okay. Oh no. Uh-oh. Well, that was Valley. I got a bent USB 3 pin. You've done that before. I've got a bent USB 3 pin.
Oh.
Oh, that's painful. Alright, so this is our 4K benchmark. Jeez, they're really bent. Oh shit. Made a mess of that. Oh damn. No, I haven't completely fucked it. I'm just going to struggle to get every pin perfectly back in line from the angle that I've got there.
Which one?
USB 3. It's inside there.
Oh, sweaty.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to turn the air conditioner up or something.
No, I'm alright. Can you just pull the fan so it's blowing on me more?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that will have to be addressed at a later stage. Damn. I don't normally fuck up, but when I do, I fuck up. It doesn't matter that you fuck up, it's that you know how to fix it. And in this case, I do know how to fix it. It's probably going to require me to take the motherboard out. Which kind of sucks. Okay, well, in that case, I'm just going to hook up. I'm just going to hook up what I need.
Doesn't want anything to do with me.
He only wants food right now, babe. Alrighty, sorry about that. So that was superposition, and now we can finally run our stress test. Oh, clicking on the wrong stuff. No wonder I bent a pin. Alrighty, 90-minute run there. Okay, so while that is stress testing, go back to full screen now while I just get I'm just going to get the software installation done on the second one. I'm going to have to look at this again tomorrow. If you've never done it before, it's a real pain if you bend those USB 3 pins. And just the angle that it's on, I'm going to have to pull the board out to repair it properly. I need to be sort of directly in front of it, good visibility, and I need to get those pins back in alignment. Because if I go to try to plug it in as it is, it's just going to bend them even more and create more of a mess. So I need to know, you need to know when to quit.
Sticky. Sticky.
You've got the big sticky and the little sticky, hey?
I miss that ad. It's probably the only ad that I can miss watching.
Yeah. But yeah, if I get everything else done, then it will just be a 10-minute job to fix that up. Tomorrow, before it gets picked up, it doesn't need to be packed for shipping, I don't think. But I will confirm.
Yeah. No, it's not for you. He doesn't have anything.
Oh, well, I gave him something to do.
Alrighty, so even though I've got to kind of take this one apart again to fix the frickin' USB 3, we can at least get everything installed and ready to go.
Dogs. Hey?
Okay. Alrighty.
Oh, they really are that small. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Look how little baby goes up.
Yeah.
They're so
They
cute.
grow into big, dangerous animals.
But they're so little and cute, I just want to poop it.
Yeah.
Nicholas says good morning. It's 6:45 in Delaware.
Hey, Nicholas, how you going?
9:45 at night.
Yes, it's the opposite
Past
here.
my bedtime.
No, the opposite. Delaware. Whereabouts in Delaware are you? Wilmington? Or out in the country? I don't know. I don't know too many places in Delaware, to be completely honest with you. 2CO, that's actually the latest version of this BIOS, if I'm not mistaken, so we don't need BIOS Babe services. All we need to do is we can put on our XMP profile, because this is a gaming PC. And we can go and do the same thing over here. So we won't bother testing our USB 3 ports because the pins are bent and they need to be repaired. And so repairing bent pins is about as fun as it sounds, okay? So realistically you need to have the socket there sort of right in front of your eyes, because you need to make sure that the pins are straight from every angle, if that makes sense. It's going to be really, really hard to do it from an obtuse angle or whatever.
Oh shit, cat noise on my fucking
You really want to be there on that nice straight 90-degree angle.
No, not on my keyboard.
Yeah, he has no respect for keyboards, that cat. The keyboard is just another thing to stand on. He sees us touching him with our fingers, so he's like, oh yeah.
Hi, cat. Nicholas says Newark. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
How do you spell it?
Newark.
Newark.
So I did say.
Yep. Or Newark. I think it might be Newark. Correct me if I'm wrong. And where is Delaware, babe?
I wouldn't have a fucking clue.
Delaware is up in the northeast, if I'm not mistaken. I think I know my US geography pretty well.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's just outside Wilmington. I know how to
Yep.
pronounce that one.
Yeah, Wilmington.
So
Yes, yes.
I've been-
Yep. It's like Logan
Yeah.
or Caboolture around here.
Fuck. Ha, there's a place called Bear. Ooh, red line. Sunset.
Yep. Delaware's fairly industrial. Like Wilmington's a fairly industrial city.
The cat had something sticky stuck to his foot and he spat it out at me. And I was like, oh, what the hell is that? And he like looked at me with this look like, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think you say it with the New England accent, like Newark. What river's that?
Delaware.
Delaware River.
It's like right on
Yep. Near Philadelphia, right?
the
Yeah, yeah. I've been to Philly. I haven't been to Wilmington, but I've been to Philly. And it wasn't sunny in Philadelphia. It wasn't sunny. I'm sure you understand exactly what I'm talking about. I saw that show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm like, it's never sunny in Philadelphia. But I think that's kind of the joke, right? It's New England, so it's like, it's rainy a lot of the time. It's not like, it's not like Texas, where it's like sunny most of the time. And then they get a random hurricane that knocks out the power for like a week. They call them dogs. Big, massive dogs.
And I've put those kayaks away because they knock them over. And
Yeah,
use
scratch
them as,
them
like,
up. They scratch them up. It's
yeah,
annoying.
They jump on them and use them as a trampoline to jump off at each other with.
Alrighty, we might want to connect some internet over here. Okay. So actually, I might not really install too much on this one. Not without talking with the customer. I'll find out exactly exactly what we're using on these PCs, and I'll get them ready exactly for that purpose. So I'll just confirm with him. I'll just need to go through this with him in a bit of detail once, and then I'll be able to set these up exactly as required. So if he gets more orders in and stuff like that. Okay, well, all right. So, like I said, I wanna talk to this customer and just find out exactly what software he needs installed on this, because I'm sure he doesn't want to be spending like half an hour, 45 minutes on the phone with his customer explaining to them how to set everything up on the PC. I'm sure he'd rather have it all like done for him and ready to go out of the box. So I will confirm all that with him, and all I'll do right now is I'll just get all the drivers and stuff installed and updated for what we've got, and that'll be pretty much it, I think. Yes, definitely need this. No, don't need any of that. I'm just not even sure what game this runs, whether it's through one of the main gaming companies or whether this is like third-party software. I really don't know. I've been given very limited details about these. I've just done him a couple of sort of business-to-business prices for these systems at a couple of different specs that he's given me, but I don't really know much about the software that's going on these. So, like I said, I'm going to confirm that with him. I might give him a call tomorrow and just go through it all with him, because if we can go and get it all sorted as best we can before it gets handed over to a customer, that will be less support calls for him. And it's not that we don't like talking to our customers, it's just that we don't have enough hours in the day to do it all. Okay. So how are we going over on this one? Okay, so CPU sitting there, 75 degrees. Did get up pretty hot, but they're designed to sort of run at full ball for a while and then they calm themselves down from a wattage perspective, which controls the temperatures. How are we going for our graphics card? Yeah, graphics card sitting there nice and comfortably. Yeah, we're dissipating heat well. Case is absorbing a lot of the heat. Sweet as. Alright, do you want to put me back to full screen and I might finish up for the night? So, thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.